The biblical narrative gains depth and wisdom through the epistles of the Apostle Paul, whose words have transcended centuries, influencing theological and ethical thinking. Among these written treasures, the verse from Philippians 4:13 stands out, where Paul proclaims, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." This verse encapsulates not only the strength of his convictions, but also the essence of his spiritual journey. By exploring Paul's inspiring words, we dive into an ocean of wisdom and faith that continues to resonate in hearts around the world. Let's now enter this enriching universe where Paul's epistles transcend paper to become timeless guides to life and spirituality. Before his transformative experience on the road to Damascus, the Apostle Paul lived in the city of Jerusalem. This iconic city, with its ancient walls and deep religious significance, was the setting where Paul, then known as Saul, played a key role. His life as a fervent Pharisee and his participation in the persecutions of Jesus' first followers unfolded in the streets and synagogues of this historic city, before his surprising journey that would lead him to a new understanding of his faith. The road to Damascus transcends physical geography to become a penetrating metaphor in the path of the Apostle Paul. This road, immortalized by a divine experience, is more than just an earthly route. It is the stage where convictions, beliefs, and destinies were radically transformed. Paul, then known as Saul, walked this road with the determination of a committed Pharisee. But what unfolded was a manifestation of God's grace and spiritual enlightenment. The blinding light, the fall to the ground, and the voice that rang out proclaiming a new mission marked the crossroads that changed the course of Christian history. The conversion of Saul emerges as an epic chapter in Scripture, outlining a spiritual journey that transcends a mere change of name. This paradigmatic event not only altered the destiny of one man, but reverberated deeply in the foundations of the Christian faith. As Saul, the fiery persecutor of Jesus' followers, walked towards Damascus, a divine light enveloped him, blinding him physically while illuminating his spiritual vision. The fall to the ground symbolizes not only physical humiliation, but complete surrender before the divine presence. The heavenly voice proclaiming, "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" as written in Acts chapter 9 and verse 4, encapsulates the transformative essence of this moment, where the hostility of the persecutor dissolves in the realization of the divine presence. Saul's conversion was not just a change of belief, but a metamorphosis of identity and purpose, drawing a new horizon of service and dedication to the message he had previously been fighting. This narrative resonates beyond the centuries, echoing the possibility of redemption and profound transformation, regardless of the past. In Acts of the Apostles chapter 9, we will see that the Lord gave Ananias a vision, and the Lord said to him, "Get up and go to the street called Straight, and inquire at Judas's house for a man named Saul from Tarsus. For behold, he is praying." And he saw in a vision a man named Ananias coming in, and laying his hand on him, that he might see him again. And Ananias answered, "Lord, I have heard from many about this man, how much evil he has done to your saints in Jerusalem. And here he has power from the chief priests to seize all who call on your name." But the Lord said to him, "Go, for this is a chosen vessel for me, to bear my name before the Gentiles and kings and the children of Israel." Acts chapter 9 from verse 11 to 15. After obeying this order, Paul headed for Damascus, but now with a totally different mission and motive in life. The house in Damascus becomes a sanctuary of metamorphosis after Paul's conversion, becoming the epicenter of his spiritual transition. In this space, which once bore witness to Saul's Pharisaical fervor, now echo the gentle echoes of a newfound faith. The walls of the house, a silent witness to Paul's tumultuous journey, seem to breathe a renewed atmosphere, permeated by the spiritual light that illuminated the dark night. The nocturnal silence is broken by the murmurs of prayers and reflections as Paul, once blind to spiritual truth, now contemplates the clear vision of the path ahead. The rooms of the house, once filled with heated debates and inflexible convictions, become a laboratory of inner transformation, where Pharisaic theology is replaced by the redeeming love of Christ. The house in Damascus, now imbued with a heavenly peace, symbolizes not only a change of physical residence, but the transfiguration of a heart and mind, resonating as a sacred place where the foundations of the Christian faith have been solidified. The return is not just geographical, but symbolic, marking a man's reconciliation with the past and warm acceptance into a community he once persecuted. The visual narrative of this return evokes complex emotions, mixing nostalgia and redemption. The interaction with the church leaders in Jerusalem becomes a symphony of reconciliation and acceptance, where the scars of the past are healed by grace and mutual understanding. Paul's return to Jerusalem is thus a moment of profound humanity and spirituality, where the old shadows fade before the light of grace and unity in faith. Paul's journeys unfold as a spiritual epic that crosses geographical and cultural boundaries, carving out a legacy that echoes in the pages of the New Testament. From the dusty corners of Damascus to the majestic cities of Athens and Rome, Paul's every step is a chapter in the epic of the spread of the gospel. His journeys are not just geographical, but symbolic, tracing the outline of the nascent Christian mission. Through the dusty roads and rough tides of the Mediterranean, Paul carries not only scrolls, but the burning fire of conviction and an unflagging love for Christ. Synagogues, public squares, and even prisons became makeshift pulpits for the proclamation of the redemptive message. Each city visited, each community reached, became a point of light in the dark cloak of the unknown, contributing to the formation of early Christianity. Paul's journeys, therefore, transcends the limitations of time and space, becoming a spiritual odyssey that continues to inspire generations with the resilience, passion, and dedication exemplified by the apostle on the roads he tirelessly traveled. The image of Paul in his prison cell becomes a powerful canvas where the paints of adversity are mixed with the brushstrokes of resilient faith. While the cold walls and chains bear witness to his physical condition, the cell becomes a setting where true spiritual freedom manifests itself. It is here, in this confined space, that Paul transcends the barriers of physical limitation, giving voice to his theology of hope even in the midst of darkness. The epistles written in ink in the penumbra of the prison are not just words on paper, but vibrant messages of courage and confidence, like the light of a candle that shines more brightly in the darkness. The prison cell, far from being a symbol of defeat, becomes a divine pulpit, from where eternal truths emanate that defy physical chains. Every echo inside the cell resonates with the spiritual resilience of Paul, who finds freedom in the words that flow freely, even when his chains remain firm. This is a sacred space where Paul's soul dances free, defying earthly limitations and offering a timeless lesson on how true freedom lies in unwavering faith, regardless of incarcerating circumstances. Paul's death in Rome is the dramatic epilogue to the extraordinary life of an apostle who devoted every breath to spreading the gospel. As the majestic columns of Rome rise up around him, the cell where Paul faced his last chapter becomes a solemn and sacred stage. The city that once witnessed his fiery defense before the authorities now becomes the place where he offers his last testimony. The looming specter of execution does not diminish Paul's spiritual fervor, but on the contrary, transforms the cell into an altar where his faith shines. The parchments he writes, imbued with a mixture of farewell and confidence, transcend the physical prison, casting a penetrating gaze on the horizon of eternity. Paul's death in Rome is not only the conclusion of a remarkable life, but a catalyst of inspiration that resonates through the centuries, inviting every heart to face the unknown with the same courage and conviction that echoed in the cell where Paul's light of faith never went out. This moment transcends the prison walls, becoming an eloquent testimony to how true victory lies beyond the reach of earthly chains, but is found in the eternal freedom that awaits beyond the last breath. I have fought the good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. From now on, the crown of righteousness is laid up for me, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will give me on that day, and not only to me, but also to all who love his coming.